Good morning everybody and welcome to this game between CDEC Gaming and Vici Gaming for the Dota 2 Professional League 2016. A tournament with the most generic name I have ever heard of, but that's okay. Also, I will never in my life be able to pronounce Vici or Vici or whatever the hell gaming's name, so I'm just not even gonna try anymore. I'm just gonna refer to them as Vici. I think that's the right way to say it, but I don't know. I've been failing to pronounce that name for years now. I will never be able to do it and I have given up. As per bans, we got an Elder Titan, Drow Ranger and Lifestealer for the Dire, as well the last ban in a second. And then of course we got a Bat Rider, Shadow Demon and Outward Devourer for the Radiant. Sand King and Rubik, two very fast pickups, right? We had the Slaughter first pick from CDEC and then two instant pickups of Sand King and Rubik. And then the Ricky as a response, which is really a little bit odd. The Sand King is a good hero, don't get me wrong, but I mean, he does kind of rely on his invisibility occasionally, and Slaughter, of course, makes short work of invisibility. And then there is, there's Rubik, who seems like food for Ricky. You know, I understand that Rubik, of course, is a little bit more difficult to kill than most supports, just because it can lift you up and throw you away, maybe even possibly throw you over a cliff or something, all of a sudden he's out of range. But at the same time, it's still an odd choice. Now, he does have some valuable spells he can steal here, like, for example, the Silence or the Slaughter Crush and Amplify Damage. Those are very powerful spells to have on a Rubik. But it's still a little bit odd, to say the least, right? But maybe they just really like Rubik. I mean, I'm not saying Rubik is a bad hero, I'm just saying Rubik is not the hero that I would expect as an instant first pick, you know. But anyhow, we got the Razor and the Tinker being banned out as well, and then Dazzle, Invoker and Ancient Apparition being picked up. These guys are rushing through this banning phase like all hell. Let's go and slow it down a little bit towards the end so we can actually talk about these picks properly. We got the Invoker, a really solid, powerful hero. I think that's really all you have to say about Invoker. Invoker these days isn't picked up because he fits incredibly well into your draft. It's more of a matter, we need a mid, is Invoker available? Right? Okay, we need a mid. We don't really have anything super crazy in mind that requires a very specific hero. Is Invoker available? Yes. Is OD available? No. Let's go ahead and take Invoker. You know, that's really all the thought process that goes into that. Ancient Apparition being picked up, maybe as a counter to the Dazzle, I mean, disabling the healing, but again, mostly just a solid, strong hero that works well with the Sand King, that works well with the Invoker, you know, having the ability to amplify the magic damage. You got the Invoker with a lot of magic damage, of course, the Sand King is skill shotting with the epicenter, so we, you know, kind of gotta keep that in mind as well. Also, Ancient Apparition, he's a very calm hero. He's a hero that's going to be useful even though he's just going to sit in a lane. You know, like once Ancient Apparition is level 6, he has a global presence, which is fantastic if you're looking to play some sort of safe lane carry that really needs a lot of protection, right? I guess something similar to maybe a Slug or a Spectre. You know, heroes like that don't really have the craziest fighting potential very early on. I mean, Slug and Spectre, they do also become powerful quickly, but at the same time, they tend to sit in a lane for a little while longer than, for example, I don't know, I guess if you were to play the Slaughter as the safe lane carry, right? But anyhow, gonna see the last bans here. Storm Spirit being picked up by CDEC, that is very interesting. Juggernaut gonna be banned out here. That's like another hero, right, that I think would be considered more aggressive than, for example, a Slug. But yeah, Storm Spirit being picked up here, a really odd choice, that's for sure. I do not believe that a Storm Spirit wins against Invoker in the mid. I think actually Storm Spirit loses quite badly. This is not a good matchup for CDEC, but maybe they have something in mind there. You have to keep in mind, this is not just a Storm Spirit in the mid, this is a Storm Spirit with a Ricky. The Ricky is always there, and I don't mean that in a I don't mean that in just a metaphorical sense. I mean that in a the Ricky is probably going to be camping the mid kind of sense. And even if he isn't, the Invoker always has it in his head, right? That's always the thing you have to keep in mind. There's a mental aspect to Dota, there's a mental aspect to any game. And the Ricky just being picked up already scares the enemy mid a tremendous amount. It makes them very, very fearful, very respectful of what's gonna be going on the map. So yeah, anyway, we got the last ban here. What is the Dire looking at? They need another, they need a carry, right? We have the Sand King for the offlane, Rubik, Ancient Apparition supports, and then the Invoker for the mid. So they do need a safe lane carry. The Luna being banned out, that makes sense, right? Perfectly lines up with that line of thinking. Now for CDEC, they are probably looking also at their safe lane carry, right? You can see Storm Spirit mid, the Slaughter probably going to be the offlane, and Ricky and Dazzle, of course, support. So what is going to be the last pick here for the CDEC? Could be a lot of things, honestly.
5 seconds.
I mean, it really depends on what they want to go for. Like, they have a lot of options. Something that is actually really interesting here to keep in mind. Oh, Gyrocopter. Okay, yeah, that's a cool hero. Gyrocopter's pretty solid. But something that's interesting to note about CDEC, as Storm Spirit as a hero, even though he isn't, like, super popular right now, he does actually bring some very interesting things to the table. Like, for example, one of the strongest late games in the entire game. A Storm Spirit in the super late game is a god. He just becomes so difficult to deal with. When the BKBs are running low, you know, when all of the BKBs are at 5 seconds and a Storm Spirit is 6 slotted, he can basically run wild on a team. So that's something to keep in mind. Also, Storm Spirit is one of the best, if not the single best, Aegis carriers in the entire game. So you have a Slaughter, right? And also a Gyrocopter now. So the Slaughter and Gyrocopter, I mean, those are heroes that can definitely help you take down Roshan very, very early on. I mean, Gyrocopter himself, he doesn't really have crazy abilities that go along with killing Roshan, right? But it's a hero that tends to build a little bit more aggressively, a little bit more early gamey. So he would be able to help out. And then the Slaughter, of course, with the amplified damage. So they could be looking at an early Roshan, giving that to the Storm Spirit and making sure that he can, you know, snowball ahead. And a snowballing Storm Spirit is a very dangerous Storm Spirit. Slug coming out from Vici? I don't know, man. I don't know. But Slug coming out from Vici. Really powerful, scary hero. I don't really see a lot of obvious synergy here. In fact, I think actually may not be the greatest pick here. You are going up against a Ricky, which is always a problem. The smoke cloud is something you cannot purge as Slog, and it's something that you really don't want to deal with, right? It's a problem. Also, of course, Ricky is a global presence. He's always going to be there. He's always going to be in your face, and you know, he might be messing with your Shadow Dance or something like that. At the same time, Slug does bring the advantage of being able to tell when a Ricky is messing with his Shadow Dance, right? And then he can dust him and find him. So maybe that's why, you know, maybe they want some additional detection there. I don't know, dude. I'm just kind of like guessing, because honestly, the Slug just seems like a pickup of, okay, we really like Slug. He's really good. Just because there isn't really any obvious synergy here, right? I at least can't find it. Ricky is already counter-warding as much as he can, of course, putting down the ward in the pull spot. So this is actually interesting, blocking this pull spot. This is a pull spot that's used quite frequently from the Radiant side as well, but I guess he just doesn't want to risk it. And now we got Sep actually right on top of everybody. If they have any detection, this might turn bad.
And they're off.
And they put it down. Yup. Alright, the Ricky should go down here. I don't really see any way he survives that. Ancient Apparition, of course, the strongest level 1 fighting hero in the game. DDC, throwing down the Chilling Touch. Yeah, look at this. There's one Chilling Touch here. One he used one. Okay, he used 2 as well, so that's 5 used already. He didn't get hit by it, but that's 5 Chilling Touch hits. That's 250 damage. I mean, it's just insane. Also, Ghost apparently is missing his first upper attack of the game, missing out on 50 Chilling Touch damage on that Storm Spirit. That is actually kind of a big deal. That is very unfortunate. Using the Sunstrike to last hit the range creep, just making sure he gets that. I know it looks a little bit silly, but it's actually a pretty decent play. So anyhow, let's talk about the players and what they're up to really quick. We got the Yang on the Sand King, gonna be in the off lane. Ghost playing the Invoker in the mid. And then FY, DDC, and End sharing the tri-lane position. On the other side, we got Sepp, the Ricky, currently off laning with the Slaughter just jungling. So June doesn't even bother going into the top, which is probably the smart call to make. I mean, there's no way you can lane against this, especially not at level 1. It's just not gonna happen. So just saying, you know what, we're gonna be in the jungle, or we're gonna be farming up here. I just gotta make sure I actually get some money, get some levels. Yes, it's not fast jungling, but it doesn't need to be fast, it just needs to be anything, because this up here would be nothing. So, yeah, but Sepp, the Ricky, is going to be able to get the most value out of this. Actually really interesting. Reminds me of something else, I'll talk about that in a second. We also got Oct on the Dazzle, and Flyby. That's actually a cool name, Flyby on the Gyrocopter. Then in the mid, Shade, playing the Storms. That's kind of funny, Ghost playing against Shade. Alright, very edgy, I appreciate it. But one of the interesting things, one of the cool things about CDEC, right, and this is one of their most legendary games they have ever played, was at the International 5, yes, the International 5, in the third game of Winter Finals against Evil Geniuses. They picked up a Bounty Hunter. Now, at the time, Bounty Hunter was exclusively used as a roaming hero at that tournament, right? Everybody was playing Bounty Hunter as a roaming hero. You were looking for kills, basically doing exactly what the Ricky is doing now, basically doing what Ricky has come to do. That was Bounty Hunter's role before that, and actually those two heroes are still very similar in that regard. And oh, that sucks. Nice snipe though, very nice. That is really valuable. So good call on that. Making sure he gets the courier kill. That's a lot of money for his team. I mean, you can see right here, right? Like, that's just the courier kill. so anyhow, what they did in that final game is they picked a Bounty Hunter, and then EG picked a Treant Protector to try and counter the Bounty Hunter. But instead of laning the Bounty Hunter how you usually would, which is to roam with him, they decided to just put him into the offlane. And as a result, the counter pick from Evil Geniuses, that Treant Protector, ended up doing precisely nothing. And Evil Geniuses lost in 20 minutes. Personally, I think that's one of the greatest plays, greatest drafts ever. That was so smart. Really well done. And I mean, it got them into the grand finals from the winner's side, which doesn't make a difference in Dota, but, you know, they still did. Right, so, the Ricky right now, you know, maybe that's a similar thing. And of course, it's not the same, because this is game 1 out of some random tournament. But at the same time, the Ricky isn't really roaming the way you would expect him to, or hasn't been. He's mostly been just kind of chilling, just kind of in the top a little bit, getting some levels. Now he's running around the place a little bit, but you know, maybe DJB is just looking, hey, okay, let's pick a Ricky just for the presence of the Ricky, but we don't actually plan on playing him that way. Now, we don't really have a space for that. We would much rather get the Slaughter into the jungle, and we don't want to completely abandon that lane, you know, like, don't want to make it so we don't get anything, so let's just have the Ricky for that. Maybe not. I just think it's an interesting connection that we could be, you know, grasping at straws to get. Yes. Anyhow. Oh, Shade taking a bit of damage, but he should be fine. We got a Slaughter coming in from the back, stunning up DDC. Oh, but nothing serious will happen. Ghost actually caught out. They got the silence, they got the slows, one attack, and that's it. Down he goes. Now it's DDC as well. Shade gonna run in, slow him down, connects with the remnant, but with the support from FY, he should be able to at least run past the tower, but not escape as the Dazzle comes in to secure the kill. Shade barely survives, Sepp as well. Sadly, FY can't finish them off, and that ended up working out big time for CDEC. Sunstrike on nothing. I didn't really see where it went. Storm Spirit suicides himself to neutrals after, of course, buying all the items he can. Very common strategy. It's faster than going back and healing. So you just kind of, you know, buy all of your shit and go kill yourself. I guess rude as that sounds. So yeah. Slaughter level 5 in a second. So that's pretty good. I mean, June is definitely doing rather well here. Of course, we got the Slug ahead of everybody, as you would expect. Gyrocopter following not that closely, honestly. The net worth is... okay, there's not that much of a disparity there. I think that's because the Gyrocopters actually spend a little bit more time farming the neutrals over here than the Slug. Right, I think the Slug has just been hitting the creeps in the lane, while the Gyrocopter has been trying to get a little bit of neutral farm as well. But I'm not sure, I haven't been paying a crazy amount of attention to this. But in terms of last hits, the Slug is very far ahead, actually. That is a little bit crazy. I suppose maybe Yang, the Sand King, is applying some pressure down here. And there's actually a bit of a problem. The range job, I don't like that pickup all that much here. It's just, you know, with the passive from the Sand King, every time that procs, it's gonna trigger one of your range drops. Right? It deals explode death damage 90. Right? Explode timer damage is only 45, so that doesn't trigger it yet. But he really only needs to get an additional point into it, which he could right now. And honestly, I don't think it's a bad idea. The ultimate isn't super valuable at the moment. I mean, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying he's probably not gonna use it for a little while. So. Yeah, but you can see right here, we got Flyby actually just working on the jungle creeps a little bit as well. So that might be, you know, that might be the reason why he's like falling ahead in the trim, like in terms of last hits, but not so much in terms of actual farm. He's keeping up quite well. Slug going into the mid a little bit, you know, just looking for something maybe, being a bit aggressive. Up at the top is just DDC now. The Ancient Apparition, of course, trying to get to level 6. That's one of the big marks with that hero. Ancient Apparition is really a hero that you want to have level 6 on as quickly as you can. DDC. Oh, buddy. Nice, he does actually get down the freeze though. So June is going to have to retreat himself out for a little while. And now coming in, working on the Slaughter. Sunstrike doesn't connect, but DDC turns it around. Throwing down some spells, and he will be the one to freeze up that fish. We're gonna have some fish sticks tomorrow. Tasty, tasty fish sticks for the ice cream. And End is now back at the top lane, just gonna continue farming there. So his little adventure through the map looking for a kill just got him back into the top. Isn't that interesting? And Volker, of course, working on his Hand of Midas, as you would expect. We got the Storm Spirit on with the Soul Ring. You know, probably just gonna be Treads next. Treads on Storm are really valuable because they allow you to manage your mana very efficiently, right? Mana management is kind of a really big deal, so that's kind of the thing there. But you might also just go for mana boost for the time being. And actually gonna be caught out. He activates the ultimate. He's still fine running though. Runs out of invisibility and... oh, wow! Man, that was really close. The mana boost saving his life actually. FY giving him the mana needed for a jump out, and they turn it around, taking down the Gyrocopter in the process. That was really sick. That was super fucking sick from FY, coming in with the mana boots. Aware that the Slug just needed mana to be able to jump out, gives them that, Slug jumps and everything is fine. They are smoking down at the bottom, and this should be a dead Dazzle. I don't really see any way this guy survives. One stun, even a Sunstrike. Oh, that's just very rude. That's very rude. And actually, an important thing to keep in mind this game, I mean, there is a very powerful global presence on the side of VG. You know, you've got the Invoker with the Sunstrike, and you got the Ancient Apparition with the Ice Blast, who's now level 6. So that global presence, I would be very surprised if they don't try to use this as much as possible. You know, be aggressive with the Sand King and the Rubik. Look for kills, maybe with the Slug as well, although right now it's just trying to farm up a little bit. Yeah, that's kind of the thing about Slug, you know, you gotta get some HP. You gotta get some HP, because if you don't have a lot of HP, then you just run in and you die because you deal damage to yourself. It's just really unfortunate. So, I'm a huge fan of the Echo Saber on Slug. I think it's amazing. I would love to see it here too. I wonder what's that. Oh, he's just gonna go for the invisibility. It makes sense too. You know, it's a bit of a different style. A little bit trickier to pull off, but good nonetheless. Although I guess I'm questioning it a little bit just because of the Gyrocopter that's in the game. Who, by the way, almost got his Dragon Lance. So that's a good item. Sounds right. Oh, that's just rude, man. That's just really, really rude. I wonder if they're setting up for a kill here. No, not right now, but eventually. Kind of getting a little bit of damage on the Gyro. You know? If you Harris fly by a little bit. Oh, wow. Ice Blast doesn't hit. Ricky. No, it does hit. Ricky does get hit. Oh, Ricky's super dead. Alright. No, but, you know, you get a little bit of damage on flyby, so then you can follow up with an Ice Blast and another Sunstrike after the Burst Strike. But seeing as the Ice Blast was just used, that's definitely not happening. I think he was just trying to be annoying, but yeah. So it's gotta be the Mana Boots on the Storm Spirit instead of the Treads for now. This is of course not a permanent item, right? The Mana Boots are just temporary while he's working on his Bloodstone, and he's gonna disassemble them, build a Bloodstone, and probably get Treads at that point. Treads are just so good on Storm. I would be very surprised to see anything other than that. And yeah, Dazzle of course also picking up his Mana Boots. Mana Boots across the board. Mana Boots for everybody. Dragon Arts, no complete here. I almost got the Invis on the Slug. So once he has that, I very much expect him to go for a kill of sorts. You know, I look for maybe the Dazzle, maybe the Ricky. I don't really think so, but you know. Slaughter very slowly working towards that Blink Dagger. Gonna be a big item once he eventually gets there. Alright. He's not really farming that much right now though. I mean, he started the game out in the jungle, but right now he's just chilling at the top. Which is scary. Oh, they jump him! Look at that! That was so cool. Going in with the Ball Lightning. I mean, of course, the Sunstrike and AA Blast. That's exactly what I was talking about, right? DDC, I mean, I don't know if you can consider this over here a global presence, but nonetheless, you know, they got the Sunstrike coming in, taking on the Slaughter really quick. The poor guy didn't stand a chance, and yeah, it's really cool that the Rubik came in with the Ball Lightning too. Alright, alright. Actually, that might be one of the reasons why they picked Storm Spirit. Storm Spirit doesn't actually have that many amazing spells for Rubik to steal. Like, I mean, Ball Lightning might actually be his best one. And while Ball Lightning worked out right there, generally speaking, Ball Lightning isn't actually that great of a spell to steal, just because you do not have the item build needed to support that ability. Yeah, I mean, if you're playing Storm Spirit, right, you're basing your entire item build around just making sure you can properly use your ultimate. So, if you don't do that and you're just a poor Rubik, then that becomes exceedingly more difficult. I also wonder what we're gonna see from the Gyrocopter here. I don't know. Alright, it could really be anything. I expect a Sentient Yasha. That seems like the most reasonable thing. Could also just be a straight BKB, which I don't see as a terrible idea, but he already went for the Dragon Lance, so you know, then you're just kind of going very defensive, I feel. But either way, I mean, both are fine items. Shade is here. They're gonna be looking for Yang. No. Not gonna force it, alright. Just pushing down the tower. Amplify damage from that little catapult. Poor catapult. poor catapult. And Shade picks up Haste Rune. So, game right now is just pretty calm, you know, and it makes sense if you think about it. What's the game plan here, right? What are both teams waiting for? Well, they want some core items on their core heroes, right? They want the Slug. He just got a Shadow Blade, so as soon as he got the Shadow Blade, you can see smoked up looking for something, but the Gyrocopter, you know, Ogre Club, so it's gonna be a BKB. You want to see that on him, you want the Blink Dagger on the Slaughter, you want the Bloodstone on the Storm. And while all of these heroes aren't actually that far away from these items, they still really want those before they fight. Right? They don't want to get those items after they start fighting. No, they want them before they start fighting. So right now they're just chilling, keeping it calm. And Radiant, okay. They see this. The thing is that the entire dire side is in here. Well, what seems like the entire dire side, but maybe not. Maybe they're just gonna give up. It seems like it. Which is definitely reasonable because there's 4 heroes from the Radiant down here. Pretty scary. Shade definitely has the Bloodstone. Yeah. Recipe on there. Gonna buy the Vitality booster, and it's gonna be a Storm Spirit with a Bloodstone, 15 minutes. Fine timing. It's not like it's spectacular or anything like that, but it's also not bad. Like, this is a perfectly fine timing. He's gonna be looking quite healthy. In the meantime, up at the top, we finally get that pick off with the Shadow Blade. This is like the one thing I keep saying about Shadow Blade, right? But Shadow Blade to me is an item where you get one free kill, right? You get one free kill. Don't get two, don't get three, one. It's just the first time you buy the Shadow Blade, even if your opponents know it's coming, they will not see the first. They will not see the first time you initiate with it coming. That's just not going to happen. So you can usually go for kind of a risky play, kind of a deep play with it, and get good value just by using the Shadow Blade and, you know, getting a quick kill, I suppose, right? And that's exactly what I did here. From now on, though, you better believe that CDEC is going to be a lot more careful with the Shadow Blade, and End is also not going to be as aggressive with looking for kills. We also got the Oblivion Staff, so I wonder, I know this looks like an Echo Saber, and it could still be. I'm not ruling it out, but I'm just saying I wonder if this is an Orchid. Because you are going up against a Storm Spirit, and it's very good against Storm Spirit. Very valuable. So that could potentially be it. Wait, do they not see him? Oh, yeah. Wait, I'm a little confused here. Did the Ricky not see that? No, he sees him. Okay, yeah. It's just that's a little bit odd. Yeah, End is pinging out that there's a ward there. No, it's really just the Ricky. That's why he's walking about this, alright? Because he noticed that his health regen or his movement speed wasn't up to max. So it is definitely some ward around that area, according to that logic. But we know, of course, it was just the Ricky with an illusion, being a little bit of a bastard, as you would expect. Ricky, by the way, picking up a gem. That's pretty risky. Wow. I'm actually surprised by this. I mean, I'm not surprised to see a gem. I'm just surprised to see it on the Ricky this early. Alright? Because this guy, if he gets caught out, that's a big deal. Then he basically becomes useless. That sucks a lot. So he's got to be really careful with this. Shade, by the way, also picking up treads as expected. Blink Dagger now done on the Slaughter. So it seems that CDEC is now at the point where they're actually comfortable looking for kills. They almost have the BKB on the gyro. Once they have that, I expect like at least some sort of objective gaming. Oh, they're jumping and going for FY. FY is going to fall. Ice Blast connects on 4. That's a pretty big one, but there's nothing here that could really get any use out of it, so it's just gonna be a tower push. Still, you know, once that BKB is ready, which it will be after the next creep wave, I expect CDEC to play very aggressively, right? And I expect them to go for objective, I expect them to go for Roshan. Do something that is more than just farming up, because the time has come. You gotta do things now. And End actually he's got a no double damage seems to just run out, and jumps out. He'll be fine. And it is an Echo Saber, so I guess, you know, my earlier prediction came true that I think an Echo Saber is a great choice this game. I think Echo Saber is absolutely what you have to go for with the slug. That is the smart play, right? And I wouldn't be too surprised to see a BKB. Honestly, BKB seems like a good idea here too. If he doesn't want to go for that, then the Scully. But no, it is a BKB. Ogre Club coming out. So yeah. It's just you gotta tank up, right? And you gotta be able to deal with what they're throwing at you, and especially the Ricky. With the BKB, you can actually deal with the smoke cloud. Without it, as a slug, you're just fucked. If they initiate on you and they drop the smoke cloud, you're probably just dead, and that's not really something that's acceptable. We got VG just kind of smoking up into the jungle. On the other side, CDEC smoking up into the Dire jungle as well. Now chilling around the mid. Shade is gonna be the bait.
Dire's mid tower's having technical difficulties.
Tower, kind of being pushed down a little bit. Well, it's at half HP now. I mean, they should be able to get this, right? And this is definitely ramping up to be interesting. By the way, we got the Hand of Mice on Ancient Apparition, so he's just making sure he gets his Aghanim soon. Oh, Rubik! He's caught out and he is dead. Rest in pieces. Holy hell. There's nothing really FY could do there. That's just the power of a Storm Spirit, right? As soon as he sees you, he's gonna zap into your face and just shoot you. That's a bit of a problem. Still, the push continues. And VG just starts... Like, they're just at a point where they start to need doing something. Is that where they need to start doing something? I think that's better. I think that's how English works. Speaking is hard. No, they're at a point where they need to start doing something, right? And they're just kind of sitting back. I mean, Invoker is now TPing away. He's got a Yule's TP boots, working on his Aghanims. He's just out here to throw out some Forge Spirits. Which makes sense, I guess. Alright, because that allows him to farm up. Also, he wants to use his Hand of Midas. Preferably on a big creep, right? Yep. There we go. Gonna activate that really quick, and he's getting close to his Aghanims. I mean, if he gets there soon, that would be pretty big. And running about the place. I wonder if they see him. There's a sentry down, so they don't know for sure that he's here. Well, both teams kind of got a little bit of knowledge of each other, but not too much. And I don't think either team is too comfortable fighting right now. You just look at the minimap. Alright, look at that movement. Yeah, both teams are gonna be saying, okay, you know what? Let's just relax. Smoke from CDEC though. They're going through the river, picking up a double damage in the process. So we got Flyby with a double damage with the BKB. I mean, that's a scary Gyrocop. This guy is really looking quite powerful. And oh, Yang. Oh, wow. No, June. June. That is actually very unfortunate. Ah, that sucks. Well, he did what I would consider the right play. Right? Like, he blinked on the Sanking. It just happened to be at such an unfortunate moment that it resulted in Yang escaping. Well, that sucks a little bit, because I don't think the Sand King would actually have hit him. I don't think the Sand King would have hit the Slaughter with that Burrow Strike, so... Oh well. Okay then, well, Sand King is gonna end up being fine. And now we got VG at the bottom here. Ghost, very close to the Aghanims. I mean, if that's what he's going for, it could also be the Blink Dagger. But I don't see why he would be saving up almost 3 grand for Blink Dagger. Right. Gotta be the Aghanims. Sorry about that. And we're gonna go ahead and just continue to push us. Tier 2 at the bottom goes down for a Tier 1 at the top. Of course, VG getting a slightly better trade here, but in the end I don't think that matters all that much. And CDEC continues pushing. Both teams are very afraid, and I mean, the game is very even. That's the thing, right? Like, the game is super even, and that means if a fight happens and it goes and you screw up, that's gonna be a huge deal, right? And nobody wants to be the catalyst for that possible escalation. And it's just kind of still farming about. I mean, he's got his BKB now, and actually a gem picked up as well. That's a pretty big deal. That is a very valuable item here. Going up against the Ricky, you know, he's getting rid of all of your wards, so... And they got a lot more vision than you. Yang? Oh, nope, they get him. Sand King is going to be going down here. Orchid hits him, and he falls. Shade, by the way. With the Orchid on the Storm Spirit now, that's a huge pickup, it's very valuable. Again, against the Slark. Silence is his worst enemy. Now, of course, he's got a BKB now, but that doesn't mean you can't silence him afterwards, right? But not only that, it's just a very solid all-around item. You saw the value of it right there, taking down the Sand King. Sunstrike scouting out the Roshan. Now, I don't know if VG actually wants to fight this without the Sand King. CDEC is... not committing too hard. Ice Blast flies, connects only on Shade. Nice split from CDEC. But no, they don't want to risk it. They don't want to risk it. It's actually funny, they're running a little bit low on mana here. That's almost a bigger issue than the HP. So they'll keep it chill for the time being. Not going in too deep, not risking anything. Just playing safe. Both of the invisible heroes with the gems are ahead, you know, are leading their team, and they're like running into each other a little bit here. Well, Sunstrike coming out, scouting something, but not too much. And again, so careful. Both teams are so careful. The smoke. Okay. Oh, this is gonna be a fight though. VG, they find June. He blinks out. Nice. Reacting. Knows that something is up, and June gets himself out of there. And never mind. No fight yet. CDEC still on the run. Both teams still dodging. Right? They're kind of pretending to look for fights, but never at the same time. And that makes it a little bit tricky. Gyrocopter working on a butterfly now. That is an interesting choice. I actually really wonder what that is about. I mean, I guess he wants to maximize his damage output, but that's a bit of an odd option for that. And Shade actually falls. Oh wow, that's actually kind of significant. Storm Spirit just dies randomly. I mean, he obviously went into deep. He was trying to kill a fly and it didn't work out, but that is not good. Ancient Apparition, by the way, look at this. This is always the funniest thing to me. I love the Ancient Apparitions. Because if you look at like kill stats and assists here, you can see the Ancient Apparition is 4, 1, and 4. He's actually got the most kills in the game. And only died once. It's actually a little bit silly. But I mean, that's how it goes, right? If you're never in a fight and you're just sitting in the back ice blasting people into their faces. We got the Invoker leading the Network as expected. That's just the power of the Hand of Midas. And also he hasn't been really active, right? He hasn't really been involved in our very scarce fights. We don't really have all that much action going on, so he gets plenty of time to farm up. And then the Hand of Midas comes in big time. And of course, Storm Spirit, who is just a very quick farmer. Then we got the Slug, who got a decent amount of money saved up now. Probably just gonna be the Silver Edge. Although there isn't really anything worth disabling. So, maybe not. Maybe Skadi. Oh, Sep. Oh, Sep. This is bad. They're gonna lose to Ricky. Oh, no. Ricky is still okay. Ice Blast flying. But he jumps out. It doesn't connect. Tornado does. In the meantime, June is going in. Now he's in a bit of an awkward spot. Cooldown connects on to Epicenter, the skill shot. But nonetheless, it doesn't connect. I mean, it's not really that easy to hit now. Shade gets the Shallow Grave on him, and now End is gonna have to retreat. He gets stunned up, amplified damage is on him, jumps out. Yang still looking for more. He misses the Burrow Strike though, and is now gonna blink out. And in the end, a single person dies in this fight. You have to be shitting me! The only person to die is Rubik. And everybody else just kind of gets out. BKB's got used, so I guess for the next fight we're gonna have less of that, but I mean, that's about all that happened. Storm now also working on his BKB. Yeah, that's what you would expect. Right, BKB I think is, I mean, BKB is just the obvious choice. That's really what Shade should be going for here, but other than that, I mean, I would like to see a Shiva. That would be really sick. Or if he doesn't feel like going for that, I mean, there's of course always the Bloodthorn, although I don't expect to see that until much later. And we got the Slaughter now with Yules. Just casual Yules, it's a really solid item. You know, there's nothing wrong with picking up a Yules. Blink Dagger on the Ricky, who for some reason managed to survive that last fight. I just still cannot believe that. This guy should absolutely be dead. Oh yeah, he blinks out, he's still running about, still putting down his wards. It's actually interesting how both teams have managed to keep a decent amount of wards alive, even though both teams got a gem. So, seems that the Ricky is struggling a little bit with the de-warding here. They should be able to see this one now. No, blinks out, alright. Yeah, he's looking for something, I think they're pinging it out. Yeah, they're definitely pinging it out. There we go. Gonna take down these really quick. Not taking the sentry? Oh, okay. There we go. And Roshan being attempted by the Dire. Which this should actually happen. I think they'll get it. It doesn't seem like CDEC has any idea this is happening. Actually, now they will. Yeah, Yang was running about the place, revealing himself to the void. Sep, he's here. And the rest of CDEC is incoming. Seems like we might finally get our fight. Roshan will go down. Aegis on the slug, but BKB also ready on a Storm Spirit now. Sunstrike flies. Shade is in the middle of it. He's looking for Yang. The Sand King is going to be going down. He's now going for FI, taking out the supports first. Flyby, running in. Sadly, the Gyrocopter doesn't seem like he's going to be able to connect with anything. And now he's got to amplify damage on himself, but he's still got his ultimate and Aegis. He's going to be fine. Slug just retreats out, even though June is chasing him down. So, yet again, not really the most eventful fight. 2 supports go down, and I mean, that's what you do with Storm Spirit. But you could really see kind of the place you go for with Storm Spirit right there. Very, very obvious, very distinct. Where it's just like, oh, yeah, you jump in, you take down the supports first, because those are the easy kills. Those are the ones you want to take down. And actually, Flyby, kind of in a bit of an awkward spot. He's dropping pretty low, but DDC, he's gonna have a second death right there. Shade now dropping very, very low. He doesn't have enough mana to TP himself out. Gonna pocket deny himself, I assume. Yup. Down he goes. Now they're looking for June. He's lifted up and taken down. Fried up, and it's gonna be fish on a stick right there. Even though not fish sticks. That's a different thing. Fish on a stick. Thank you. We had fish sticks earlier. We're not gonna have fish sticks twice a day. Don't be weird. I don't even know how to continue from there. Flyby, he's got his butterfly. And that's kind of a funny thing. Maybe that's why he's going for it. Flyby, butterfly. Alright. Oh no! Flyby! Use your butterfly wings and butterfly out of there. Oh god. Well, that's a dead Gyrocopter. Doesn't even have BKB. He's gonna try to maybe scare the Slark away with damage, but that's not gonna happen. Down he goes, and now it's just Shade who's caught out and dead. Oh god, CDEC, this is not good. This is not good at all. VG, they're now pushing down the mid. Tier 2 down already, working on the Tier 3. The smoke cloud is kind of stopping N from doing anything, but there you go, there we go, it wears off. He purchases off the amplified damage. Of course, he's got an Aegis, so this is... Like, the problem right now is just the initiation on N doesn't really make a lot of sense. They get this... get the Ricky. And this on the retreat out. But yeah, the initiation on the Slug just doesn't really make a lot of sense. You jump him, and then what? I mean, he's got BKB, he's pretty tanky, and even if you manage to kill him, he's just gonna resurrect. Right? So they're just using him to be their frontliner. He's just kind of sitting there pushing down the tower. And this is actually looking pretty damn bad for CDEC now. I mean, that last fight dropped them down a deep hole. Look at that. Yeah, from a game that was very even. Actually, usually... No, I don't know. I would say very even. Very even, right? It just went heavily into VG's favor. And I know this is not a huge amount in terms of, like, pure monetary value. Right, I know it's only 4 grand difference, whatever, what does that even mean? The thing is that now VG feels confident, and now VG has figured out they can win fights. That was the thing up to this point in this game. Neither team were confident that they could actually win a fight. Now VG does know that they can, so they will be looking for more fights. Also, their team is... kind of built to be at their maximum potential right about now, right about 35 to 45 minutes is when VG is very dangerous, and that's kind of the problem. CDEC's team was built to be built to peak a little bit earlier, and they haven't really done so. Now, they can peak again later with the Storm Spirit, but that's gonna take a little while, so that's kind of the issue here. Yang, by the way, he's got his Force Staff, now working on Aghanims. That's just gonna make his range basically global. Like, that's the thing, if you get Aghanims on Sand King, as well as the Blink Dagger and even the Force Staff, Sand King might as well be a global hero. Because he's got a cast range of like, what, 3,000 that he can hit you from. That is just ludicrous. So that will be a very big pickup. Okay. We got CDEC hiding to the side. June sprinting ahead. Going for Yang. He's lifted up. Doesn't have a BKB, of course. The poor Slaughter yulls himself into the air. Now Shade looking for more. He's gonna be able to take down Ghost, actually. That's 3 dead for Vici. And Chase Down activates the ultimate. Now it's DDC on the run from the storm. Actually gets the phrase, so DDC will be able to get out. But End, I don't know if he'll have the same luxury. The Slug picked off. Aegis ran out. Actually, it seemed like a second ago. And CDEC wins that fight big time. Turning it around, and that was a beautiful, beautiful jump, you know? If you're pushing down the mid, you expect CDEC to hide around here, but they said, you know what? Let's go to the side a little bit. Let's try to surprise them, let's try to catch them. They do that, they get a bunch of kills, and now they are pushing down your base. Now, luckily, their tower push isn't really super crazy. They're not really that good at hitting buildings, so you don't really have to worry about a crazy amount of building damage here, but it's still a little scary. It definitely is. Ice Blast flies. Gonna connect on Shade. So, at least they hit the Storm Spirit. Tower goes down. Flyby. Pounding into the barracks. Yang jumps the Gyrocopter. He gets silenced up immediately down. Sand King is dead. Sepp now lifted up, but he's just gonna make himself invulnerable for a time being. Face shifting out of there. And the barracks falls. Got the Tornado flying. Flyby gets stunned from the Rubik. But BKB and TP out. Playing it safe, making sure that he doesn't accidentally die. Storm Spirit now got his Sheep Stick. So that's pretty big. That's a rather big pickup. I mean, that's scary, man. And yeah, Storm Spirit is now getting to the point where it's really, really nasty. I mean, the 2 items that he would go from here is just Shiva and Bloodthorn. But once he, if he were to ever get there, then the game was kind of over. So that's a bit of a problem. But yeah, that last fight was huge. Look at that. Look at that turnaround. Taking that deep dip and flipping it right on its head. Gyrocopter also actually got a bit of money farmed up. I wonder what Flyby is going for here. I mean, he's got his butterfly, so... MKB, a full MKB on a Gyrocopter now. That is huge, that is so much damage output. I mean, he's really playing it risky, he doesn't have a lot of HP, he doesn't have a lot of survivability, but Flyby just says, you know what? Who cares? I'm just gonna shoot you and I'm gonna try to kill you before you can kill me. And let me be honest with you, I'm pretty confident I can do that, and... so am I. I'm fairly confident that he will be able to do that. Just overpower whatever's going on VG. And he's now working on his Basher. Gonna go for the Abyssal Blade here. Which is an interesting choice. I mean, that seems like the counterplay to the Storm Spirit, who he's just struggling with, you know. It's just Slark. You usually try to catch people with the jump, and then they can't really run away, and then you take him down really quick, but... that's just not what's happening here. So, we got Slog just kind of running about a little bit. He's got a School Basher now. And Smoke from CDEC. They're just kind of going into the top here. Sneaking about the place, looking for something. CDEC charging ahead with the Slaughter up at the front. Of course, he's very fast, picking up a Shadow Blade as well, so starting to deal a little bit of right-click damage. Also making sure that if the smoke gets broken, he notices first. So June.
Trouble brewing at Radiant's bottom tower.
It doesn't seem like he can find anything, but there's Yang, so I mean at least the Sand King is around, so we know that. TP back from VG. Invoker, by the way, he's got his Octarine Core as well as his Aghanim's. I mean, that's a lot. Blink Dagger. Oh shit, I missed a lot of stuff with the Invoker. That guy got pretty scary. Aghanim's now done on the Ancient Apparition. That is actually a very important pickup. Very powerful. So, AA, scary at this point. I mean, if he gets a good Ice Blast, that might just end the game. But this is actually a really interesting point we had. It feels like anything can just end the game right now. You know, one good fight and it's over. because everybody's so powerful. It's been a calm game, you know, it's not been that much fighting. So, because it's not been that much fighting, both teams have had more time to farm up and have had more time to become powerful. Which means that once a fight happens, it's gonna be of huge impact to the game, you know? The less fighting there is early on, the more impactful the fights later on become. Because everybody's just farming, and that's the fastest way to get money. So, Sunstrike on Roshan here, just making sure they aren't attempting that, but Roshan is still down. Gonna be down for about another minute. And jumped. Actually, BKB kind of baited out right there. I mean, that's pretty bad. FY takes the Bull Lightning, so he'll have some initiation. The Blink Dagger as well as the Ghost Scepter on him. I actually really like the Ghost Scepter here. Even though Storm Spirit, I know it doesn't, you know, he mostly does magic stuff, I guess. But actually a large, significant portion of his damage output is physical. So having the Ghost Scepter really helps with that. Roshan now being attempted. Amplified damage is on him. Dazzle Weave as well. Sunstrike. Gonna scout it out. So VG definitely knows. But they're split up. CDEC? Are they gonna run out? Okay. Shade yet again. The only one to get hit by that Ice Blast. Roshan is very low though. And yes, I like that a lot. They're just gonna put Flyby in there. Just gonna have only the Gyro. And the Cloud as well. Rubik comes in, Tornado flies. We got a Storm up in the middle of it, but oh god, he's got his BKB, he's got his Bloodthorn, he's got his Aegis. Slark goes down, he's gonna have to buy back. You know? Messy fights, yet again, not that many people going down, but AA, oh. Alright, Shade sipping in from half the map away. And Storm gets that kill. That's Torio's down. I mean, Ancient Apparition, that's a pretty big kill. Ice Blast is a very powerful ability. Honestly, this Invoker has just not been putting his weight, it feels. Like, he's just not really doing anything. Okay, he's going in this time. He's gonna prove that he is worth something. Connects with the Ice Wall and stuff. Shade is now in the middle of this, but look at the Storm Spirit. He just doesn't have any fear. He knows he's basically invincible and dropping low. He bought back. Shade will go down, but of course he's got the Aegis, the Resurrection in a second. They're trying to maybe get the Sand King ready, but the stun will not be available. And Cold Snap comes out. The jump! They jump, two of them. They get both, and the Invoker Ghost will go down first. Now Slark on the run, but that's not gonna be enough. Epicenter comes in, but that won't change anything. That's game. No? Ice Blast? Okay, well at least I got one that way. I mean, it's just a Slaughter who is really not that great at pushing towers anyway, so at this point, I think CDEC can be okay with missing out on him. Oh, FY. Alright, greedy motherfucker, but GG is cold anyway. VG knows that at this point, the gap is too big. And that's that. Anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you did, please don't forget to leave a rating on the video. As per usual, leave feedback. I think that one was really good. I think I did good this time around. But anyway, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Goodbye.